life. Like, for an example, after my friend Amber, I was 4 years old and she died of cancer. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, even though I was 4. My first experience with women, and I was a kid, but I say women, is I was on the playground at school one day, and there was my friend Apple. We called him Apple. His name was Travis. We called him Apple because his mother ate apples when she was pregnant with him, so we called him Apple. These two girls on the playground looked at us, and then one of them said, "Who do you think looks better, Rod or Travis?" That was his name. And the girl looked and said, "Travis, definitely Travis looks better, yeah." And then they left. And that's kind of the thing that happened to me with most females. They were always comparing me to other guys, and that's why I think that I was judged and I was beaten even before I even had a chance to fight. One day, when I lived in Arizona, there was a girl named Lynn, and I tapped her on the shoulder to not thank her, but to compliment her or something. She turned around and looked at me and she said, "Get your grubby hands off of me." So,
So is there a song called "Bitch" in here?
okay. Then, when I was in 6th grade, we lived in Germany. I was going upstairs to put my books in my locker, and there was this tiny little girl. She was in the same grade as me, but she looked like she wasn't. Looked up at me, everybody in the hallway, there was a whole bunch of kids in the hallway, and she looked up at me and she said, "You are ugly." And then I'm like, okay, and everybody was laughing and I kind of smiled, but it kind of hurt my feelings because, it hurt my feelings because I've been told all my life I was ugly, and that's why it bothers me when I hear women say they're in a relationship that they're in, and they say why they're in a relationship that they're in, but they stay in a relationship they're not happy with, and I'm nervous, so if I ramble. They stay in a relationship they're not happy with, but they could very easily get out. Yet I wonder how many times that same female had a chance to be with a nice young fellow like myself, and be with somebody that would actually treat them right, but they would rather be in a relationship with this piece of crap, who treats them wrong. And my family, we didn't touch each other too much. We didn't hug. The only time I ever got touched was with the belt, That's the only time I ever got, touched. And I've heard it said that, have you seen the shows where the father's getting ready to whip the son and he says he's going to put him over his knee and he says, "Son, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you." I didn't buy that.
That's crap.
Neither did I.
That's how people justify it, yeah.
I didn't buy it because if you love someone this is how I looked at it. If you love someone you're getting ready to put your hands on, why do you only do it when you're angry at them or when you're mad at them? You do it out of anger, and then as soon as you're done, you walk out the room like, "Yeah, that felt great." And then I'm sitting in there, can't even sit down, my butt's hurting, and I'm like, oh, all of this stuff. So my family we didn't touch or loving and doing all of that stuff. But the person that I wish I could have had more with, but I didn't, is my mother. And I kind of felt like she blamed me for a lot of stuff that happened to her as a child, because she used to say all kind of things like, "Oh, you're going to end up like this person, you're going to end up like that person." And I felt like she blamed me for a lot of that stuff. And the girlfriends that I had pretty good relationships with the girlfriends that I was very affectionate, and every time she was upset or I was upset, all it would take was just to calm that person, to calm one another down and just talk. So I'm very affectionate. Not to say that I, have a problem with, putting hands on anyone, but I believe that one of the reasons why I got into the massage therapy is not only to help me, but it's also to make other people feel good. Because I think sometimes when you make someone feel good, it makes you feel a little bit better, So I know it sounds dumb, or anything, stuff like that. I'm just nervous, I'm sorry. But I've always felt like there was something wrong with me because I always took rejection as I don't want you to touch me. I took rejection as you're not good enough. That's why I listen very carefully to what a woman says, very carefully, especially when she's talking about men. Because when she's talking about men and how bad they all are, I just, I want to say something, but I just say, well, have you ever tried a real man? Have you ever tried being with somebody, else? More than likely, no. Right. More than likely they haven't. So never mind. So one thing I must say though, all my life, the one constant that has always been there for me has been music. Beautiful. Music has always kept me, when there was times where I was on the streets, or there was one time where I was working a job, but I couldn't afford to stay anywhere, so I actually slept in my storage compartment. Wow. And how I was able to wash and take a shower is I'd work out at the gym, and they had a shower. So what I'd do is I'd go in there and work out, pump that iron, get in that shower, wash up real good, and then I'll go to the motel, wash my clothes. I kept it secret, and then I'd go to my job and work. Nobody knew it was going on. So I've had I guess you could say rough life, but my thing is...
You're still here. You're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
You've had a rough life, but you're still here.
That was good. You kept it together. You worked out. You made sure your spirits were up. You showered there. You had a job. You instead of being jobless, smelly. You still kept yourself together because you knew you would do better.
That's why it bothered me when I see women with these guys that didn't work. They supported them. And here I am working my ass off.
Honey, if you think you're going to figure out what women are thinking, you get...
Sometimes
Child, that's not ever going to happen.
Sometimes I think that girls will pick guys that are worse than them to make themselves feel better. If I date someone who's better than me, now I need to work harder, maybe they're going to put me down. If I date someone that doesn't have a job, well then I'm the
and
maybe
a lot of
stronger.
women feel they don't deserve good men.
Yeah.
That's why they pick a piece of crap guys, because they don't think they deserve good guys.
Yeah, if they've been abused all their lives, then they're taught that's what love is. And so that's their comfort zone. And so they seek out somebody just like their father would abuse them.
It's self-esteem, it's history, it's patterning.
A lot of things.
It's emotional history, yeah.
Well, I'm not abusive, and I don't believe that everybody that has been abused will become abusive, because I don't ever want my wife, I'm not married now, but if that happens, or my kids to ever think that lowly about me that dad hits me, or my wife to say after we would split up, because eventually you're in an abusive relationship, you're gonna divorce.
Yeah. Better.
Or someone's gonna go to the hospital or get killed. Right. I don't want my wife saying years later, my husband abused me, he was Rob Symian, and he beat me, and he beat our kids, and that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be very affectionate, because that's just the way I am, and I want my kids to growing up ever having that shadow over their head and ever growing up to do that. Or if I have a son, to think it's okay to hit women, to say, my dad does it, it makes him feel like a man, and my mom, as soon as she sees him hit, him, she's like down a hit, whatever. She's down on he may get what he wants, but he's gonna reap what he sows someday.
Exactly, good.
And I don't want anyone to ever feel that illy about me. The song that I'm gonna do today was Amber, one of two of her favorite songs. It's not an upbeat song, and it's a very old song. And I'm sure all of you know the title of it. And that's the reason I'm doing it, because out of all the females I've ever met, she was only 5 and I was only 4. But she touched my life because she was dying of a disease. And I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Even though I was really young. She fought to the end. She even told her mom when she was sick, she said, "Mom, don't tell all my friends that I'm sick because I don't want them to start thinking differently about me, and I don't want things to change. I want us to keep playing like we do and keep doing the things that we do." She was very mature for her age, and I didn't figure all this out until years later. I remember what happened. So this song is dedicated to her, and it's called "You Light Up My Life." And hopefully the CD player won't skip.